The One UI 8.5 was expected to drop today, but a single calendar date may have quietly pushed the whole rollout back. Alright, if you've been refreshing the Korean community posts like it's your job, you're not alone. A lot of people had April 30 circled as the moment Samsung would kick off the stable One UI 8.5 rollout in South Korea. And yet, nothing. No stable download, no official post. Just that familiar feeling. Okay, so where is it? Here's the rumor-shaped answer. Labor Day. May 1 is a designated holiday in South Korea, and the timing is just awkward enough that it could explain why Samsung didn't press the big green button today. Samsung hasn't confirmed any delay, and they also never officially confirmed April 30 in the first place. But the pattern watchers and community trackers are lining up the clues, and it's pointing to a rollout that's likely only days later. There was a rumored timeline floating around earlier this month that mapped out beta and stable dates. And here's the part that made people take it seriously. The release dates for Beta 9 and Beta 10 were perfectly accurate. Not close. Not a few days off. They landed exactly when the rumor said they would. That's the kind of accuracy that makes the community go, okay, this might be coming from someone who actually knows the schedule. So when that same timeline pointed toward the Korean stable rollout around April 30, expectations shot up. People were watching the members app. People were checking Samsung's Korean community boards. People were basically treating April 30 like updated Christmas morning. But then April 30 came, and the stable build didn't. Now, to be super clear, Samsung never announced April 30 as the stable release date. This is all based on patterns, previous rollouts, and rumor-based timing that happened to be correct for the last two betas. That doesn't guarantee stable has to follow the exact same path. Still, when a rumor track record is that keen, you can understand why the disappointment hit hard. So why would May 1, Labor Day, affect a rollout that would have started on April 30? Because rolling out stable software isn't just upload file done. Once a stable update is live, you don't get to take the next day off if something goes wrong. And if you followed Samsung updates for any amount of time, you know the risk. A last-minute bug can pop up at the worst possible moment. If Samsung had pushed stable One UI 8.5 today, and then tomorrow a major issue was discovered, the normal response would be to pause the rollout, tweak the build, or push a hotfix path depending on the severity. But if a big chunk of the workforce is out for a national holiday, it becomes messy fast. Even if there are on-call teams, you're still choosing to launch right before a day where response speed could be slower. And Samsung, like any massive company, hates being trapped in a situation where users are updating, problems appear, and the support and engineering pipeline is operating with reduced staffing. Not because people aren't working hard, because you're intentionally choosing a higher risk window. That's why a lot of users are pointing to Labor Day as the simplest explanation for the delay. Not drama, not conspiracy, just basic scheduling. Now, the next rumor question is obvious. If not April 30, then when? This is where May 4 enters the chat. May 4 is a Monday, and Samsung loves Mondays for updates. Monday is clean. It's the start of the work week. Teams are fully active. If anything spikes, bugs, server load, weird device-specific issues, you've got the whole week to respond. And it also gives Samsung a couple of days after the holiday to finalize last-minute checks. Now, could it be earlier than May 4? Possibly, but look at the calendar logic people are using. May 2 is a Saturday. Saturday rollouts aren't impossible, but they're less typical. You're back to the staffing and response time problem. And May 3 is Sunday, which is basically a universal slow day for corporate responses almost everywhere. So when you line it up, April 30 is avoided because May 1 is a holiday. May 2 is Saturday. May 3 is Sunday. May 4 is Monday and suddenly looks like the cleanest landing spot. Again, none of this is an official Samsung statement. It's pattern analysis and community speculation. But it's the kind of speculation that has a logic trail you can actually follow. And there's another angle here that people aren't talking about enough. Sometimes holding an update isn't only about Samsung. It's also about the user experience. If you drop an update right before a holiday, and something goes wrong for even a small group of users, you've now created a weekend plus holiday stretch where those users are stressed, searching forums, and waiting. That's not a great brand moment. Balancing workers and consumers is part of the equation. Now let's talk about broad expansion, because this is where the rumors get bigger than one date. The chatter right now is that once the global release starts rolling, especially once the Galaxy S25 update spreads, the pace will ramp up fast. The estimate floating around is that many Galaxy devices could receive the One UI 8.5 between May 4 and May 30. Notice how that's worded, many Galaxy devices. Not all. Not a device-by-device confirmed list. It's a wide claim, and it's coming from tipster-style info, not official Samsung communications. But we can make educated guesses about which models are first in line, because Samsung's rollout habits are pretty consistent. If devices are already on the One UI 8.5 beta builds, they're usually first to get stable. That likely puts the Z Fold 7, the Flip 7, the S24 series, and Fan Edition models near the front. After that, it's typically a staggered spread outward. More regions, more carriers, more models. Because the rumor package isn't just security patch and a new emoji. The talk is that the One UI 8.5 is meant to elevate the overall Galaxy experience with improved design, a concept Samsung's been leaning into called ambient design, and tweaks across various apps to make everything feel cleaner and more unified. But the real headline for most viewers is AI. Samsung has been pushing Galaxy AI hard, and the One UI 8.5 is supposed to expand the list of AI features that used to be locked to newer devices. We already saw Samsung bring the newly AI-powered version of Bixby through the One UI 8.5 beta, and the big claim now is that even more formally exclusive Galaxy S26 features are coming to older Galaxy phones. But the details being discussed are specific enough that people are paying attention. Here are the features being talked about. First, an enhanced audio eraser. The idea is that it can separate and optimize voices, music, and background noise as they happen. And the reason this is exciting is because it's not just for your own recorded videos. The rumor says it can work while watching content on third-party platforms like Netflix, YouTube, and Instagram. So imagine you're watching a clip with messy audio. You swipe down to the quick panel, and a small pop-up gives you options. Dampen background noise, boost dialogue clarity, and pull music down a bit. That's the promise. Second, Creator Studio. This is basically generative AI image editing. You make a rough sketch, and it turns it into more polished digital art. Or you take an existing image and shift the entire art style. The key here is speed and accessibility. It's right on your phone, not a separate desktop workflow. Third, call screening. This is one of those features people instantly understand. An AI assistant answers calls from unknown numbers, transcribes in real time, and lets you decide if you want to pick up. If you've ever been hit by spam calls while you're busy, you already get why this matters. Fourth, photo assist upgrades. The rumor claim is more prompt-based editing, adding or removing objects, changing the color of clothing, and shifting elements in an image using text prompts. Basically, more of the tell the phone what you want editing style. Now let's circle back to Bixby, because this might be the most practical AI upgrade for everyday users. The AI-powered Bixby in the One UI 8.5 beta is said to include a partnership approach with Perplexity AI. Not just chatting for the sake of chatting, but Bixby acting like your phone's built-in expert. And honestly, that's the kind of AI most people actually use. Not writing poems, not generating random images, just making the phone do the thing you want without hunting through settings. Ask it to run a diagnostic on battery health. Tell it to toggle your hotspot. You don't need to remember where Samsung buried the menu this year. And that's why the premium AI features staying exclusive question keeps coming up. Samsung has been pretty direct over the last couple years. They want Galaxy AI on as many devices as possible. They've even talked in the past about hitting massive numbers of users. And even if there's no immediate profit in giving away features that could have sold new phones, there's a long-term strategy. The more you rely on AI tools on your Samsung phone, the deeper you get into the Galaxy ecosystem. So even though we should treat these feature claims carefully until they're official, the direction matches what Samsung has been signaling. Now back to the rollout timing. Where does that leave you today? If you're in South Korea and you expected stable the One UI 8.5 on April 30, the most reasonable expectation right now is that it slid because of May 1, and the next likely window is May 4. If you're outside South Korea, you're probably watching that Korean rollout as the first domino. Once it falls, everyone starts counting days for their region and model. The biggest thing I can tell you is this: don't panic refresh every hour and assume the update is cancelled. This kind of short delay is normal. It's not a bad sign. It's a calendar problem, not a product problem, at least from what we can see right now. And until Samsung posts official notices in the Members app, everything else is just educated guessing. If you want fast updates without digging through threads all day, subscribe right now and comment with your device model and your region, because I'm tracking where the One UI 8.5 shows up first, and your comments help everyone watching this figure out the rollout pattern in real time. Finally, here's my challenge to you. The next time you check for updates, don't just look for the download button. Open Samsung Members, check the notices, and then come back here and tell us exactly what you see for your model. If May 4 is the real launch window, the first proof is going to show up in the community before it shows up in headlines. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.